Right, okay, folks, welcome to another video. This was something I was thinking about for quite a wee while. There's been certain games in my life, in my sort of gaming life, that they've featured a certain level, a sound effect, music, just a game that I've played and I've been like, wow, just blown away with something that game has featured. Now, what I've done is I've compiled a list. I was going to call it the top 10 WoW moments, but I couldn't actually narrow it down to 10, so it's 11. And yeah, these games are not the best games. They're not my favourite games. Some of the games might not even be very good. But each of the 11 that I've featured in this thing, I've included because they included a certain thing that just I was like, wow, this is incredible, or it just kind of it blew my mind, it startled me, whatever you want to call it, it amazed me. So yeah, this is my 11 WoW gaming moments. Right, game number one, Stardust, released on the Commodore 64. Um, now, yeah, my wow moment isn't so much the actual game. I mean, it is impressive looking. There's no getting away from it. This was a kind of take on asteroids, although it does kind of look more like Blasteroids, which was an arcade game. I mean, it did have, or it does have some really nice, really pretty looking graphics. A nice use of kind of bas relief, metallic type effects, really nice. But like I says, it wasn't this actual, it wasn't the gameplay itself that was a wow moment. It's this next bit that's going to crop up, which you'll see very shortly. So yeah, when you complete a level, you then pick where you want to go next. And what it does is it initiates a warp sequence, and it's this warp sequence that blew my mind back in the early days. Now you need to bear in mind that I do appreciate that these WoW moments, looking at them in the cold light of day of 2025, probably look shite. But you need to you need to remember this was off its time. So yeah, this bonus level, it was like nothing I'd seen before. This 3D tunnel effect. I just remember thinking how incredible it looked. Even like the asteroids, they're all lovely kind of coloured, look really nice. But yeah, just this effect. I mean, we'd seen this effect on demos on Amiga over the years, but we'd never, or at least I had never seen anything like this in a game. And I remember thinking, why couldn't they have just made a game based on this particular section? Yeah, I just thought it looked great. This game has obviously grown in popularity. It was ported to the PlayStation 3. I think there's been 2 or 3 versions of this game. I don't know whether they still feature this particular warp sequence thing, but yeah, for me back then, that was just like, it was like nothing I'd seen before. That was a Stardust on the Amiga. And wow moment number 2, Beachhead on the Commodore 64. This was a very early game, 1983 I think it was, when it came out. I bought this. I bought it based on the graphics on the back, and I've got to say I wasn't disappointed. It's a kind of multi-part. I think it's 4 parts, 4 parts, different little mini games. Each mini game isn't particularly impressive, but what impressed me was this bit coming up. That sound effect. I remember I was in Ray's Computer Shop in the Mall in Livingston. It would be 1983, and yeah, this was he had this running, and I just remember thinking that is like real, that sound effect. I mean, as we all know, the SID chip is a fantastic chip. It's very, very diverse. You can manipulate it to do various things, but I just think they've done an absolutely great job with the sound of a plane passing overhead. That just, it still impresses me even now. So that was Beachhead. Like this next one needs no introduction. This is Monty on the Run, and it's the theme tune by Rob Hubbard. It's my favourite Sid tune. The first time I heard it, blew my mind. It's like Bohemian Rhapsody for the C64. So I'm just going to be quiet for a few minutes and let you enjoy this absolute fantastic Sid tune. never gets old. Fantastic. That was Money on the Run. Right, next one. Game number 4. World Games. Now, by this point, I mean, I was a massive fan of the Epix sort of game collection. You had Summer Games 2, Winter Games. By the time they'd got to World Games, it had all got a bit too obscure for me. You know, we don't do cliff diving or whatever. We couldn't relate to it. But this one event, yeah, you'll soon see. I was just like, that is incredible. The caber toss. It's not something I've ever actually done, I have to say. And we also don't wear kilts constantly and eat haggis. Now, being Scottish, I do actually appreciate bagpipes, and I don't quite know how the programmer managed to get this sound from a SID chip. I just think it's absolutely uncanny. It really does sound like bagpipes. That is so impressive. Absolutely nailed the sound of the bagpipes, honestly. Incredible. Yeah, absolutely insane. Game number 5, Fairy Tale Adventure on the Commodore Amiga. Now, I had moved over from the C64 to the Atari ST, and then when the Amiga 500 came out, I was able to buy one. And this was one of the first games that I got. It was a pirate copy, but I still remember distinctly when the guy loaded it up, a guy called John, he loaded this game up, and just the whole presentation of the game just blew my mind. You know, I know that the SID chip was a very capable musical instrument, but hearing like a proper kind of organ getting played, coupled with this was almost like a kind of open world game. You know, you could go wherever you wanted. Even now, I still think it's a beautiful looking game. And one thing that really nails this game is the music tempo and actual music itself changes depending on what's actually going on in the screen. You know, back in the day of the C64, the SID chip would just play, but this actually adapted to what was going on in the screen. So when you encounter enemies, the music would change, it would get faster, it would get more sinister sounding, but just the crystal clear, I don't know what you'd call that, organ sound, I just thought was incredible. I really need to revisit this game. I played it a lot, then of course the number of games increased, and before long you end up stop playing it and you just get stuck into other stuff. I think I'll need to actually start playing this again. It's one of my favourite adventures. Yeah, you're getting pursued, the music changes. and then when you die, you come back as one of the brothers. But yeah, it was a landmark game for me on so many levels. The graphics, the music, the open world sort of gameplay, incredible. Game number 6, Beachhead 2, again on the Commodore 64, once again programmed by Access Software. This game, I loved Beachhead. I always felt that the sequel was somewhat disappointing. I don't know what it was. I mean, everything was better, graphics were better, but I never really gelled with this game. But the first level, on a technical sort of level, is something really special. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to stick it in demo, and that'll probably demonstrate the game better. Now, Berkeley, Electronic Speech Systems of Berkeley, yeah, they used that system for Impossible Mission. Any other games? I think they also used it for Kennedy Approach. But for some reason, you didn't really get a lot of speech in sort of subsequent games. I don't know why. Did they think it was some sort of gimmick or whatever? I don't know. But yeah, the speech synthesis used by this game is something else. So this is the first level. Yeah, there's two players. There's one who controls the gun at the bottom. The other player controls the helicopter, and he's got to deploy the little soldiers. Now, for tiny little sprites, they're actually extremely well animated, I think. Now, it's no coincidence that another game that I could have included in this list is Raid Over Moscow. And again, the reason being the sound effects, especially in the first level, the hangar level, where the plane takes off, just the use of filters, it's incredible. Listen to that speech. And the animation for these wee guys is fantastic. Yeah, so the Carver brothers obviously mastered the SID chip when it came to like sound effects. Look at the animation for these guys. It's incredible. Now, this game quite rightly got awarded. I think it got a gold medal actually. Like I said, it's not a game that I'm particularly fond of, but for these reasons, it deserves its place. Right, this next one, Hyper Sports. The game itself is exceptional, but I've put it here because of the music. I'm a massive fan of Chariots of Fire. Love the Vangelis track, and when I heard this, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Absolutely nailed it. Wow. Right, this next one. Yeah, number 8, Way of the Exploding Fist. Again in the Commodore 64. Now, this game is one of my favourite Commodore 64 games. For the record, I think it's the best fighting game there is on the C64. I know some will disagree, but these people are wrong. This game, yeah, the graphics, the sound are exceptional. Even to this day, I still think it's fantastic. But I've not put this on this list because of the gameplay. It was something else that it did that when I first came across it, I was like, "Holy shit!" Yeah, I'm going to just be quiet. I'm going to let you watch the tape load. You might want to turn the volume up on your monitor or TV or smartphone. And yeah, you'll soon see what impressed me, what made my jaw hit the floor, and why this is on the list. So I'm just going to shut up for a wee bit. Yeah, it might sound quite lame now, but trust me, back in 1985, when you were eagerly awaiting this game to load, you had no idea what was going to come up, and you got hit with that. I mean, we're used to loading music and loading pictures, but that thing, that must have been responsible for quite a lot of people shitting themselves quite latterly. So, yeah, excellent. Right, number 9, Ridge Racer on the Sony PlayStation. Up till this point, up until the PlayStation came out, um, yeah, I was used to graphics on the PC, and they were fantastic. But you were playing games on small monitors, etc. And the arcade still had games which the PC couldn't really do. Yeah, there was like versions of it, but it never really cut it for me. And this particular game, Ridge Racer, was still out in arcades, and we got wind that this game was going to be coming to the PlayStation. Now, bear in mind, this was one of the first games, and I remember getting home, putting the PlayStation on, and loading up this, and just being absolutely aghast at what I was witnessing. As far as I was concerned, this was Ridge Racer Arcade in my living room. This just looked exquisite on my 32-inch widescreen Panasonic CRT. The graphics, the sound, the music. Yeah, I know there's far more technically capable games out there. It was a close call between this and Wipeout, two early games, and they just demonstrated to me what was possible with these machines. This was another level. It literally was. It was like a new level. We weren't used to seeing games that looked this or sounded this good as well. This is probably my favourite PlayStation game. I think even now, yeah, it does look a wee bit low res, but it still plays brilliantly. It still looks great, and it still sounds great. So it deserves its place. Right, this one, yeah, number 10, Galaxy, and more specifically, MAME PC. I got my mate Grant gave me some floppy disks, and I booted it up, and this is what appeared. Galaxian. Now, you're probably thinking, what is the big deal about that? This was a big thing. This was the arcade Galaxian running on my PC. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I was a massive arcade fan, loved all the old games. Um, Obviously, you'd been playing various ports over the years of stuff like this, but actually getting to see the arcade version running on your home PC, just yeah, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Obviously, that was MAME, multiple arcade machine emulator, and that this game, this very game, is the reason I am called Meme Meister, because I was looking for a username when I first got the internet, and uh, MAME was, I picked it because it was such an important part of my history, and thanks to MAME, we've got all the emulators and what have you. So very well deserved. And the very final game I've picked, and this is Arkanoid on the Atari ST. Now, let's go back to 1987. I was aware of the Atari ST. I didn't have one. I couldn't afford one. And my mate Ian told me that he had a surprise. And I went up to his house, and he had an ST, and this was one of the games. This was the first game that he put on, and I just couldn't believe how incredible it looked. This wasn't some sort of blocky representation of the arcade. This was the arcade. Uh, it was arcade perfect, and again, it was just an indication of what we were dealing with. This was where we had got to in terms of technology. Um, yeah, again, like I says, I think all these games that I've featured, you're looking at them now with the spectacles of 2025 and probably thinking that they look rubbish, but it would be a bit like somebody seeing the first ever television. It would be a wow moment. It might look dated, but yeah, this one absolutely deserves a place in my 11 wow moments. So anyway, folks, let me know what you think of the video. Let me know what your wow moments were. Do you agree with any of these? Do you disagree with some of them? I don't think any two people are going to have the same ones. We've all got our own interpretations and memories of stuff that we've seen. But yeah, I could have quite easily done a top 50 wow moments. But these were ones that are probably the most kind of standout in my history. So anyway, folks, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, thank you very much for watching.